Hello viewers, I am Dr. Wajida Rehman. Today we will discuss the very interesting and trending issue of living relationship and their impact on marriage institutions in our country. The main objectives of this module are to know about the concept of living relationship in India, to know about the legality of living relationship in India, to examine the causes of living relationship in India, to know about the impact of living relationship on marriage institutions in India. Let's introduce the topic. While introducing this topic, it has to be informed that we all have heard the words living relationship, living together, or non-marital cohabitation, de facto relationship, domestic partnership, or marriage-like relationship, etc. It is always in the mind what the legal definition of a living relationship is, or what the accepted definition of a living relationship is. However, it is found in the research that there is no legal definition of a living relationship in India. But according to the accepted definition of a living relationship, when two persons of the opposite sex live together with each other and perform marital activities without any religious sanctity. It means without proper marriage. The generally accepted definition of a living relationship is an arrangement of living under which the unmarried couples live together to conduct a long-term relationship similar as in marriage. Simply put, a living relationship is an arrangement in which a man and woman live together without getting married. Living relationships is a relatively new term in the Indian domain, but its context can be traced back to ancient times. Another definition is given by the Cambridge Dictionary as two people cohabit in the same house and have a sexual relationship but are not married. They are often referred to as live-in partners. In India, a live-in relationship is interpreted as a marriage-like relationship under Section 2, Subclause F of the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. The term live-in relationship is a new migration from Western culture, but the concept has been practiced in different forms in India since very ancient times. The concept of avarudh stris, taken from the Sanskrit word avaruddham, for example, something banned, meaning thereby a banned woman or an illegal woman, prevailed in ancient Indian history. If we trace the history, the Vedas mention 8 types of vivahas or marriages, one of which is the Gandharva Vivah, in which the man and woman mutually consent to marriage. Such a marriage involves neither the families of the couple nor a particular ritual or any practice to solemnize the marriage. It was a mere word of mouth commitment. Although the couple was united using Gandharva Vivah, their responsibility and commitment were seen to be identical to any of the other types of marriage as ordained in the traditional text. There was also the concept of Maitri Karars in Gujarat and Maharashtra, where two heterosexual people would enter into a written agreement as a friendship agreement to live together and look after each other. Similarly, Nata Pratha, the customary practice for centuries, is still practiced among the Bhil tribe, which resides in the regions of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. This custom is non-marital cohabitation and also promotes polygamy of both genders. Again, a tribal girl from the Oran, Munda and Ho tribes of Jharkhand can choose a non-marital relationship called dhuku with her male partner without getting married to each other. Similarly, the living arrangement without a legal marriage among Gharasiya tribes in Rajasthan is called Dapa, and it has been practiced since very ancient times. It was not considered immoral for man to have living relationship with women outside of marriage. Now we will discuss the causes of living relationship. If we analyze the causes of living relationships, we can find that when man was uneducated and uncivilized, he survived on the blood of others. The living relationship was the trait of that time. But in modern times, people are opting for living relationships for different reasons. For example, to test the relationship before marriage. They are unable to marry legally. They do not want a long-lasting relationship. It is easy to establish and dissolve without the legal cost often associated with divorce. These are the main reasons that a person opts for a living relationship. There are other reasons too. There may be reason like a woman being of lower social and economical rank than the man, or because the man is already married. Generally, in earlier periods, only men of high economic and social status had concubines. The reasons that bring people into living relationship are multifarious, ranging from physical to economic and several other categories. People may live together for a number of reasons. These may include wanting to test compatibility or establish financial security before getting married. They might see cohabitation as a way of being single. They do not consider themselves single, but they are not looking for a spouse. It may also be because they are unable to legally marry due to reasons such as the same sex, some interracial or interreligious marriages are not legal or permitted. Other reasons include living as a way for polygamists to avoid breaking the law or as a way to avoid the higher income taxes paid by some two-income married couples, negative effects on pension payments, or philosophical opposition to the institution of marriage, that is, seeing little difference between the commitment to live together and the commitment to marriage. Today, as a living trend, a girl and a boy, either in an educational institute, a workplace, a pub, a discotheque, etc., get ample opportunity to know and spend time with each other. These boost the chances of them entering into a living relationship. The economic independence of youngsters, especially in urban areas, is becoming very high. Thus, their dependence on their respective families has considerably reduced, which in turn allows them to ignore the dictates of their families. Regarding their personal lives, many people, either for the purpose of education, jobs, etc., live away from their homes. Thus, they are not subject to the immediate control of their families. Now, let's discuss about the impact of living relationships on marriage institution. If we can analyze the impact of non-marital relationships on marriage institute, then after independence, society learned its social values with individual rights. Bigamy became outlawed and women became more aware of their rights. This practice is now illegal on the basis of moral values and legal concerns. But still, the practice of living relationships is going forward day by day. The new style of non-marital cohabitation, inspired by Western culture, is becoming famous in modern India. Though Indian society does not allow such relations wholly, the judiciary is somehow recognizing them by interpreting the existing law. The personal laws, however, do not countenance living relationships on the same footing as marriage, but under Section 2F of the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, it is allowed as a marriage-like relationship with certain essential requirements. As a non-marital intimate relationship, how living relationships impact Indian society, Indian culture, the institution of marriage and family, and the status of women, children, and senior citizens in India is what we are discussing here. To understand the impacts of living relationships in Indian society, we have relied on the societal responses towards emerging non-marital relationship, that is living relationships, and that is very important to stimulate the social status of living relationships in India. On the basis of various decisions of the Supreme Court as well as the high courts of different states, we can give a preview. The study of these judgments makes it clear that living relationships are no longer a strange topic in society, and their impacts on society are partially accepted, though with certain limitations. However, the legal position is still chaotic, and it has really emerged as a conflicting situation with the existing personal laws of the country. Hindu law condemns intimate relations outside marriage and declares marriage a socio-religious institution that is connected with many religious obligations. It is not permitted to make such relations that are immoral or against social norms. And there is no doubt that a Hindu marriage is a religious ceremony and one prescribed for the purification of the soul. However, the judicial response to the living relationship somehow makes it cloudy. It gives the presumption of marriage for the long duration of the living relationship unless and until it is proved otherwise. In Muslim law, it forbids sexual relations before or outside marriage. Sharia considers consensual premarital sex a hudud crime and requires public punishment. Islam explicitly forbids all sexual relations outside of marriage, both premarital sexual relations and sexual relations outside marriage. It is known as zina. Beyond being a crime requiring punishment in worldly life, fornication is a sin leading to punishment in the afterlife in Islam. According to Christian law, which is based on the Bible, it is very clear that living together before marriage is sexual immorality. Marriage between a man and a woman is the only form of partnership that God accepts and blesses. All sexual relationships outside of marriage are considered fornication. Consequently, this also includes cohabitation, that is, people living together before marriage as a couple. Such conditions are clearly described as fornication and adultery. To secure sexual morality, it says, let each man have his own wife and let each woman have their own husband. According to the Zoroastrian faith, a living relationship is not recognized as a habitual practice or as an alternative to marriage. Marriage is a very important institution of Zoroastrianism and only sanctioned and praiseworthy space for the sexual intercourse of two Zoroastrians. At the same time, however, the consensual premarital intimacy of two single Zoroastrians, unlike adultery as a betrayal of the rightful spouse, is not a grave sin, although it is certainly not the path of holiness. On the other hand, there is no legal barrier to prevent a man and a woman from cohabiting together without entering into a formal marriage in the form of a living relationship. The traditional society of India, however, does not approve such living arrangements. Even courts are trying to take the living relationship under the presumption of marriage. Since there is no specific law that recognizes the status of couples in living relationships, the law as to the status of children born to couples in living relationship is also not very clear. The need to ascertain the status of such children catches greater importance in the protection of child rights parameters, and that should be the primary agenda of legislation. With respect to this, legal precedents have gone on to hold tremendous value in tackling the issues faced by children of living relations in identifying their position in the socio-legal setup. The live-in relationship can be considered in two parts, either by choice or by circumstance. The person who voluntarily consents to be in a living relationship together falls under the category of by choice. But sometimes by mistake or fraud, people are living together as husband and wife, and they can be placed under the category of by circumstance. A living relationship by choice does not have any legal issue, as it does not need legal recognition. But a living relationship by circumstances has certain problems because of the presumption of a valid marriage, or rather a misunderstanding of a status of marriage. However, in most cases, women are the victims of living relationships. In comparison to marriage, a living relationship does not confer the status of husband and wife. The couples who are living together are called partners only. Without the status, they are not able to claim any matrimonial rights, such as those relating to marriage, divorce, maintenance, property rights, the right of custody of children, religious and societal rights, etc. Thus, a living relationship cannot be considered a marriage, neither in the legal sense nor in the sense of any of the personal laws. For a Hindu marriage, we need to first satisfy the provisions given under Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and then Section 7 of the same Act. But often in living relationships by circumstance, people claim that they got married because they justify the requirements of ceremonies under Section 7 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. However, the philosophy of Section 7 is that to fulfill its requirement, one first needs to fulfill the requirement of Section 5 of the same Act. In the case of divorce, there must be a marriage between the parties. So, in a living relationship, the concept of divorce is absent. They can be separated at any time at their own will without the right of matrimonial remedies. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 passed with the object of providing more effective protection of the rights of women guaranteed under the Constitution who are victims of violence of any kind occurring within the family and for matters connected therewith or incidental therewith. Again, the Supreme Court in D. Velusamy versus D. Patachayammal held that under the 2005 Act, a relationship in the nature of marriage must also justify some criteria. For example, the pair must clutch themselves out to society as being alike as spouses. The pair must be mature, that is, must attain the age to marry as per the laws to which they are subject. They must be otherwise competent to enter into a legal marital relationship, including being unmarried. The Supreme Court, in the judgment of Indira Sharma versus VKB Sharma, came up with a definition of a living relationship and made it clear without a doubt that living relationship is not a sin or crime, but socially unacceptable. Amidst the lack of specific legislation on the subject, the Apex Code made an important decision to include living relationships under the pretext of the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 as marriage-like relations. The legal status and laws governing living relationships are not the same in all countries. It varies from country to country. Different countries have different views on relationships. For example, in Bangladesh, cohabitation after divorce is frequently punished by the Salishi system of informal courts, especially in rural areas. In Indonesia, an Islamic penal code proposed in 2005 would have made cohabitation punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Also, non-marital cohabitation is illegal according to Sharia law in countries where it has been practiced. On the other hand, in many developed countries like the United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, France, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Australia, living relationships are very commonly practiced and accepted and are not considered to be illegal. The living relationship is a practice of choice between two adult and heterosexual persons. They have intended to test their compatibility before marriage. The concept of living relationships has come out of the closet and even found partial recognition in the law. Though the debate rages on in public forums with recommendations and opinions yet coming in from various authorities and commissions to amend the existing laws. However, there have been no amendments to the existing personal laws. It is thus necessary to examine whether or not living relationships can find their place in personal laws in the country. The harm caused to a legally wedded wife and her children and the promotion of bigamy are two main arguments opposed to the legalization of living relationship in India. Therefore, it is submitted that any attempt to protect lives under personal laws must address these two issues carefully. However, it may be critically worth mentioning that after the recommendations of the Malimat Committee report in 2003, which suggested considering the women's living partners as a wife under section 125 of the Criminal Procedure Code 1973. The enactment of the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act in 2005 provides protection from physical, mental, sexual and economic abuse, maintenance rights and the right of palimony to any aggrieved woman under a domestic relationship, which also includes a female living partners under the category of relationship in the nature of marriage, which are very important steps. However, under section 125 of Criminal Procedure Code, the children born out of the living relationships are entitled to maintenance, irrespective of the fact that they are legitimate in law. In conclusion, we must agree that in India, the status of a living relationship has neither been conceptualized nor approved by any personal laws or statutes. As there is no legal definition of living relationships, the courts in India have actively adopted the view that when two partners mutually agree to live together as husband and wife for a long time without being actually married, the law will presume that they are legally married unless the contrary intention is proved. However, in any case, it is not clear that the court is actually recognizing a living relationship independently. The view of the court is clear if the conflict in the living relationship has arisen and marriage is the best possible way to resolve the issue without any confusion, then it includes a living relationship under the perusal of marriage institution. So, this is the crux of these two concepts. The leading judicial pronouncement tried by some means to find a resolvable way to eliminate the chaos of status, which also leads to uncertainty in proprietary rights. That's all for today's lecture. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you very much.